Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is Explanation of Battle Through the Heavens episode number 218 based on novel. So let's start. Little Yi hugged the bead as a desire filled his face. It appeared as though saliva was about to fall out of his mouth. He had greatly coveted this thing right from the start. However, Xiao Yang had been studying it, and he has not been able to do anything about that. He immediately appeared when he saw that Xiao Yang was finally planning to give up. Xiao Yang was startled after seeing Little Yi appear. Little Yi's intelligence was growing. He was even able to use his tender voice to utter some words, but this was the first time Xiao Yang had heard him actively request something. It is not beneficial to keep this thing. Xiao Yang knit his brows and replied. Although this bead contained the devouring power, it did not segregate between enemies and allies. More importantly, this thing devoured one's life force. Whoever placed this thing within one's body would likely end up aging and becoming weak. Little Yi shook his little head. A pink flame surged from his body and wrapped around the black bead. After which, it forcefully merged this bead with his body. Xiao Yang hesitated for a moment after seeing Little Yi's anxious actions, but he did not stop him. Although Little Yi was merely a fire spirit, he possessed extremely sharp senses when it came to danger. He would not act like this if the black bead was actually harmful. The bead was rapidly merged into Little Yi's body as Xiao Yang watched. The moment the bead was about to disappear, a strand of an extremely faint black flame suddenly surged out of Little Yi's body. After which, it swiftly headed toward his head. Xiao Yang and Little Yi shared a mental connection. Thus, Xiao Yang was naturally able to detect the unexpected change. His expression quickly changed. Little Yi did not panic because of this sudden change. Lines made out of pink fire quickly formed. These lines turned into a fire net that restrained the black flame. After which, the web made from fire quickly shrank, forcefully shattering the wisp of black flame into a large black light spot. Finally, a flame swept over and merged the black light spot into Little Yi's body. The pink flower lotus fire seal on Little Yi's forehead gradually revealed an additional black line after this black light spot merged with Little Yi's body. At a glance, it appeared somewhat mysterious. EWA. After completely swallowing the black light spot, Little Yi suddenly extended his little hand and grabbed at the empty space in front of him. An invisible ripple was quickly formed. The energy around this lake swiftly gathered into his palm. Within a short moment, the energy had transformed into a 5-colored spotted crystal. This crystal was swallowed by Little Yi. Xiao Yang was stunned as he watched this scene. After the impure energy crystal entered Little Yi's body, it was swiftly separated into waves of aboriginal energy that appeared within Xiao Yang's body without reason. Xiao Yang's face was stunned. It was a long while later before a thought passed through his mind. He began to refine that pure energy and turn it into Do Qi, which he then merged into his body. This energy is something that this little thing has ended up feeding back to me. Xiao Yang's eyes were searing hot as he stared at Little Yi in front of him. The energy he had been given had come from the impure crystal this little fellow had just swallowed. These energy crystals, which Xiao Yang has not been able to absorb, had turned into pure energy after passing through Little Yi's body. A portion of this energy was subsequently fed back to him. EWA. Little Yi proudly swayed its small head. After absorbing the energy crystal, the pink flame on his body seemed to have become a little brighter. Moreover, Xiao Yang could vaguely detect that the current Little Yi appeared slightly stronger than before. This little thing can actually train. Surprise flashed through Xiao Yang's eyes after this thought formed in his heart. That devouring power allowed Little Yi to absorb energy from the surroundings to strengthen himself like a human. If this was really the case, Little Yi would end up growing stronger and stronger in the future. Xiao Yang, who was mentally connected with Little Yi, would be able to raise his own strength as well. In this way, it seemed that Xiao Yang had gained an additional free worker. Moreover, it was a worker that did not know how to complain or feel tired. It seems that I have accidentally obtained a good result. Xiao Yang fondled his chin. He did not have the slightest idea on how to refine the seed flame of the nihility devouring flame. All he could do was randomly attempt to refine it. However, it was fortunate that Little Yi boasted a strange constitution. Being a heavenly flame, it was able to accept this unique ability that originally belonged to the nihility devouring flame. Haha, it seems that you have managed to create a strange thing during this training. A familiar elderly laugh suddenly appeared while Xiao Yang was rejoicing over the results of his training. Xiao Yang lifted his head and saw Yarrow Larrow land from the sky. Both of his feet walked across the surface of the lake. Xiao Yang grinned and asked, "Is there a problem within the alliance? Has there been any activity from the Hall of Souls?" "Aye, all is well. As for the Hall of Souls, some of the branch halls, which we have found, have been shifted based on the information that we have received recently. Perhaps they are afraid that we will strike again and destroy those branch hall." Yarrow Larrow fondled his beard and laughed. "Shifted. Xiao Yang knit his brows upon hearing this news. For some unknown reason, he felt that the recent actions of the Hall of Souls were a little unusual. Given their character, they could not endure the humiliation of suffering such a loss to the hands of the Sky Mansion Alliance. Are you feeling that there is something wrong? Yarrow Larrow also smiled after seeing Xiao Yang's facial expression. He quickly sighed. I have already mentioned that the Hall of Souls seems to be scheming something. Otherwise, they would not have gathered souls for so many years. Although I do not know what their plan is, it is likely not good news for us if the Hall of Souls is allowed to complete it. Xiao Yang nodded. The defeat of the Hall of Souls had caused it to lose a great amount of face. Additionally, the Han clan did not show the slightest activity. This made it difficult for one to clearly know just what this mysterious clan was planning to do. I will dispatch some spies to specifically investigate this matter. Hopefully, we will be able to obtain some information. Xiao Yang quietly nodded. His heart felt pressured. Although his strength had reached the 5th star of the Doshan class, he was still unable to rescue his father from the Han clan. He had never thought of forcefully barging into the Han clan from the beginning. Not because he was afraid, rather it was because the current Xiao clan could not afford him suffering a mishap. If anything happened to him, no one would be able to rescue his father and revitalize the Xiao clan. Hence, he would not take such a big risk unless he was absolutely confident. 5-star Do Sheng is still insufficient. Xiao Yang's eyes flickered. He no longer needed to be afraid of the Hall of Souls with his strength, but the Hall of Souls was merely an external faction for the Han clan. His true enemy was the most mysterious and greatest being within the Dochi continent, the Han clan. A 5-star Do Sheng was considered a peak expert anywhere else. However, if one wished to fight the Han clan, it was still insufficient. Back then, Xiao Xian possessed the strength of a 9-star Do Sheng, but he still ended up dying by the hands of the Han clan. A mere 5-star Do Sheng would not be able to stir a wave. Xiao Yang's expression involuntarily became a little shady after having such thoughts. With his current strength, there was no longer any shortcuts left to swiftly raise his strength. He had already obtained the purifying demonic lotus flame. The second-ranked Nihility devouring flame had already landed in the hands of the Han clan. As for the first on the heavenly flame ranking, Xiao Yang bitterly laughed. That thing could not even be adequately described by the words divine object. One would be daydreaming if one was thinking of obtaining it. I'm afraid that I can forget about more heavenly flames. Xiao Yang softly sighed. A spiritual light suddenly flashed in his heart. He flipped his hand and a jade piece with an ancient aura appeared in his hand. The ancient jade was covered with mysterious lines. At the middle of the ancient jade was a partially visible tiny light spot. It was the spiritual imprint of his father. This jade was naturally the Chushi ancient god jade that the Jiyu and Han clans wished to obtain. Yarrow Larrow by the side was also slightly startled after seeing Xiao Yang suddenly take out the Chushi ancient god jade. He merely stared at Xiao Yang in surprise. Xiao Yang rubbed the ancient jade. His finger slowly rubbed that light spot. An apologetic feeling rose within his heart. Despite being a son, he was only able to watch his father suffer at the hands of the Han clan. This was an unfilial act. Father, Yang has never forgotten about you. Once I possess the strength to head to the Han clan, I will definitely rescue you as soon as possible. Xiao Yang's teeth bit his lower lip tightly. A moment later, he inhaled a deep breath of air and suppressed the churning emotions within his heart. The Tushi ancient god jade is related to the Tushi ancient god's mansion. However, this jade has been separated into 8 pieces. It is clearly impossible for me to gather all of them. Xiao Yang's eyes flashed. An image suddenly flashed across his mind. It was a magma world. Xiao Yang had met Tianhuazunja in that place. Jianan Academy's underground magma world. Xiao Yang had sensed unusual activity coming from the Tushi ancient god jade in that place. Now that he thought about it, it was indeed a mystery. Deep within the magma world were strange magma creatures that seemed to be guarding something. The magma world beneath the inner academy, perhaps I should find some time to head there and probe around. Yarrow Larrow helplessly shook his head after seeing Xiao Yang fall deep into thought. He softly coughed and handed over a beast skin scroll. He said, "This is a message from the 9 serene deep ground python tribe. It is for you. Take a look." Yarrow Ming. Xiao Yang was startled upon hearing this information. He received the scroll while feeling slightly uncertain. After which, he slowly opened it. A line of red words immediately appeared in his sight. The demon phoenix has attacked. There is an unusual activity coming from the 9 serene spring. Xiao Yang suddenly stood up. His expression was gloomy. His frightening aura caused even the waterfall behind him to stop flowing. Kaylin, what happened? Yarrow Larrow by the side was startled after seeing Xiao Yang's reaction. He hurriedly asked a question. Xiao Yang's eyes flickered. He handed the scroll in his hand to Yarrow Larrow. Yarrow Larrow received it and frowned. He was aware of the relationship between Xiao Yang and the 9 Serene Deep Ground Python tribe. Moreover, the most important thing was that Cai Lin was still undertaking a retreat at the 9 Serene Spring within the 9 Serene Deep Ground Python tribe. The scroll had said that there was unusual activity at the spring. It was likely related to Kaelin. No wonder Xiao Yang would react with such intensity. The Heaven Demon Phoenix tribe, what are these people planning to do? Yarrow Larrow frowned and wondered. Xiao Yang slowly withdrew the powerful aura that had erupted from him. He had formed a big grudge with the Heaven Demon Phoenix tribe. Last time around, he had forcefully captured the Demon Phoenix tribe's junior tribe chief and 2 of its elite Do Shungs and had used them as hostages in order to help the ancient Void Dragon tribe. These hostages had caused the Demon Phoenix tribe to be afraid of acting recklessly. Although this had resolved the threat faced by the ancient dragon, he had also completely offended the Demon Phoenix tribe. However, Xiao Yang was unafraid of offending them. Moreover, his strength had greatly soared. There was even less of a need for him to feel afraid. However, he couldn't figure out why the Heaven Demon Phoenix tribe would find trouble with the 9 Serene Deep Ground Python tribe at this moment. How do you view this matter? Yarrow Larrow glanced at Xiao Yang. Although the Heaven Phoenix tribe was powerful, the Sky Mansion Alliance was not afraid of them with their current strength. There is no need to drag the Alliance into this matter. The Heaven Demon Phoenix tribe is not an ordinary faction. The Alliance has just stabilized itself. Some unnecessary trouble will involuntarily find its way over if the Alliance engages in a war with the Heaven Demon Phoenix tribe. Moreover, the Hall of Souls quietly looking on with ill intent. Xiao Yang voiced his thoughts. I will bring the little fairy doctor and Qing Lin with me to the Beast region. Only the 3 of you? Yarrow Larrow knit his brows slightly. The Heaven Demon Phoenix tribe was not an ordinary faction. Additionally, the Beast region was their main camp. Although Xiao Yang's strength had soared, it was still a little inappropriate for him to venture in alone. Relax, Xiao Yang smiled. With his current strength, there were extremely few places around this continent that he could not go. Why don't you bring Elder Xiao Chen along? Yarrow Larrow hesitated for a moment and suggested with a worried tone. The Alliance is currently in the limelight and the ancestor of the Pill Tower is a free and easy person who is difficult to find. There must be an expert with some weight present at the headquarters of the Alliance. If I leave, we can only rely on Ancestor Xiao Chen. Xiao Yang shook his head. He glanced at the worried Yarrow Larrow and involuntarily laughed. Teacher, there is no need to be worried. With my current strength, even if I meet a 6-star Do Shung and cannot beat him, it should not be difficult for me to escape. Moreover, the tribe chief of the Heaven Demon Phoenix tribe has yet to reach this level. Yarrow Larrow was unable to say anything more after hearing Xiao Yang insist. He merely asked, when do you plan on leaving? This matter cannot be delayed. I will leave now. Kaelin has been in a retreat for too long. I have started to worry. This time around, I can head over to take a look. Xiao Yang grinned as he replied. Yarrow Larrow sighed after hearing this. Be careful. Xiao Yang nodded. He did not say anything more. His body moved, and he turned into a bright light that rushed out of the deep mountains. After which, he swiftly found the little fairy doctor and Qing Lin. Subsequently, the 3 of them tore through space and rushed toward the Beast region at full speed. The huge size of the Beast region was not the least bit inferior to the Central Plains. Moreover, this place contained an uncountable number of interesting events like the Central Plains. The most dazzling existences within the Beast region were undoubtedly the 3 large tribes that stood at the top. These 3 tribes were the ancient Void Dragon tribe, the Heaven Demon Phoenix tribe, and the 9 Serene Deep Ground Python tribe. Among these 3 large tribes, the ancient Void Dragon tribe had not revealed themselves for a long period of time. The 9 Serene Deep Ground Python tribe might be large in numbers, but it was weaker than the Heaven Demon Phoenix tribe in terms of the quality of experts. Hence, during these years where there was no news of the ancient Void Dragon tribe, the position of the Heaven Demon Phoenix tribe in the Beast region was no different to that of the Hall of Souls in the Central Plains in the past. The Beast region was exceptionally lively during this period of time. The main characters of this liveliness were the Heaven Demon Phoenix tribe and the 9 Serene Deep Ground Python tribe from the 3 great tribes. In the past, no one would have expected the Heaven Demon Phoenix tribe to launch a large campaign against the 9 Serene Deep Ground Python tribe. They maneuvered plenty of experts within the tribe and charged toward the 9 Serene Deep Ground Python tribe's headquarters. Moreover, they had surrounded the headquarters until nothing could pass. The swords-drawn atmosphere caused the Beast region to feel a little anxious. Everyone understood that if the 2 large tribes were to start a war, it would not be a small fight like the wars between other tribes. Hence, countless pairs of eyes continued to observe the situation after the Heaven Demon Phoenix tribe surrounded the 9 Serene Deep Ground Python tribe. The Deep Underground Abyss, Snake Underground Network. The headquarters of the 9 Serene Deep Ground Python tribe was covered in pressurizing atmosphere. Countless 9 Serene Deep Ground Python tribe experts' eyes contained cold glints as they looked to the sky outside of the underground network. That place was filled with human figures. Many huge wings covered the sky like dark clouds. Tribal chief, the Heaven Demon Phoenix tribe has really gone overboard. They have actually charged into our territory. If our tribe does not respond, we will definitely end up becoming a joke. At that time, which tribe would dare to rely on us? Over a dozen figures stood on a majestic mountain in the middle of the underground snake network. An old man with an icy expression spoke in a deep voice to a strong back. Some voices agreed after this old man's words sounded. They were furious that the Heaven Demon Phoenix tribe would so arrogant. Elder Mo, this matter is not so simple. The chief of the Heaven Demon Phoenix tribe has personally led an army over this time around. That old fellow has the strength of an advanced 5-star Dosheng. Who among our 9 serene deep-ground python tribe can match him? A grey-clothed old man with a somewhat old-fashioned face frowned as he spoke. Are you trying to say that we will have to simply watch the Heaven Demon Phoenix tribe step on the head of the 9 serene deep-ground python tribe in front of so many people? The elder from earlier coldly snorted. We cannot put it this way. The aim of the Heaven Demon Phoenix tribe is merely the lady training within the 9 serene spring. If we hand her over, that old-fashioned man smiled. Before he could finish uttering more words, that strong figure at the front let out a cold snort. That low snort immediately caused the old-fashioned man to hurriedly shut his mouth with a somewhat pale expression. My 9 serene deep-ground python tribe will not hand her over. Once we do, other people will think that my 9 serene deep-ground python tribe is afraid of the Heaven Demon Phoenix tribe. Being one of the 3 great tribes, I cannot afford to lose face. Do not mention this matter again. The strong figure turned around. His face was filled with a mighty demeanor even without being angry. This face belonged to the chief of the 9 serene deep-ground python tribe, Yarrow Ming. That elder, who seeked peace, could only suppress the words in his mouth after hearing Yarrow Ming's firm words. He muttered, however, today is the deadline that the Heaven Demon Phoenix tribe has set. If we do not hand her over. Everyone's heart sank even though those last few words were not uttered. The tribal chief of the Heaven Demon Phoenix tribe, Huang Tian, possessed the frightening strength of an advanced 5-star Dosheng. Even Yarrow Ming was unable to block him. Elder Mo, have you sent the message? Yarrow Ming mused for a moment before asking in a deep voice. It has already been sent. Elder Mo nodded upon hearing this question. He immediately hesitated, but, will Mr. Xiao Yang really hurry over in time? The matter of the Sky Mansion Alliance defeating the Hall of Souls had already spread over the entire Central Plains. There were many people in this beast region who had also heard the news. Naturally, the matter of Xiao Yang defeating the chief of the Hall of Souls had tagged along with this information. Hence, many elders highly anticipated this savior. Although they did not dare to say that Xiao Yang would be able to force Huang Tian of the Heaven Demon Phoenix tribe back, at the very least, the Heaven Demon Phoenix tribe would not dare to be this arrogant if he were present. Now, let's just quietly wait for good news. He will come. Yarrow Ming smiled. He looked to the distant sky and spoke with absolute certainty. Yarrow Ming, 3 days is already up. Have you decided whether you will hand that person over or start a war? However, Yarrow Ming had only just lifted his head when a calm voice containing a powerful pressure reverberated by the ears of every 9 serene deep-ground python tribe member like thunder. The expressions of those elders on the mountain became extremely ugly after hearing this voice. Yarrow Ming's eyes were gloomy. His body moved and he rushed high into the sky. His eyes turned away from the mountain range. A huge demon phoenix was flapping a pair of 1,000-foot-long wings in the sky. A purple golden-robed figure was standing with his hands behind him on the head of a demon phoenix. A pair of golden eyes that contained an incredible dignity shot over. Tribal Chief Huang Tian, the person training inside the 9 serene spring, is Xiao Yang's woman. Xiao Yang will not simply leave things be if you dare touch her. Yarrow Ming responded in a deep voice. Ha ha, what a good won't leave things be. The eyes of the purple golden-robed man revealed a faint mocking expression upon hearing this. Xiao Yang kidnapped my son and threatened my tribe. He even possesses the wings of my demon phoenix tribe. This person is already an enemy of my Heaven Demon Phoenix tribe. Do you think that this king cares about leaving things be? Yarrow Ming frowned. It seemed that this old ghost was determined to capture Cai Lin today. I will give you 1 more minute to consider. Give this king your final response. Huang Tian looked at Yarrow Ming indifferently as he slowly gave him an offer. His words had just sounded when he slowly shut his eyes. After doing so, the atmosphere of this land suddenly became intense. 1 minute swiftly passed amid this tense atmosphere. However, Yarrow Ming's expression remained gloomy. He did not show any signs of handing that person over. Huang Tian's shut eyes were once again opened after this final second passed. An icy chill surged into his golden eyes. Since Xiao Yang has the courage to threaten this king with my son, this king shall do the same to him. I will capture his woman before deciding what to do. Yarrow Ming's expression slowly became gloomy after hearing Huang Tian's icy-cold cry. It seemed that the matter today would not end peacefully. Huang Tian's voice sounded from a spot above the underground network. Without uttering any more unnecessary word, the surrounding space fluctuated. His body rushed toward the 9 Serene Spring Deep within the headquarters of the 9 Serene Deep Ground Python tribe. Many elders from the 9 Serene Deep Ground Python tribe were extremely furious after seeing Huang Tian forcefully barge in. This action was no different than giving the 9 Serene Deep Ground Python tribe a slap in front of countless number of people. Huang Tian, you should not go overboard. This is the territory of my 9 Serene Deep Ground Python tribe. Being the clan head, Yarrow Ming needed to step forward at this moment. His body flashed and he appeared in front of Huang Tian with a gloomy expression. He furiously cried out, "Yarrow Ming, you and Xiao Yang quietly joined hands and launched a sneak attack on the experts of my tribe. This king has remembered this matter. If you dare stop me today, do not blame me for ignoring the past relationship with your tribe." Huang Tian's expression was indifferent. His golden eyes coldly observed Yarrow Ming. After which, his body flashed past Yarrow Ming. "I have long heard that Chief Huang Tian is extremely strong. Today, allow me, Yarrow Ming, to have a taste of this strength." Yarrow Ming's eyes became chilly. At this moment, he could think about the great difference between Huang Tian and him. A cold cry sounded and a palm with a terrifying force furiously smashed toward Huang Tian while accompanied by deep sonic booms. A futile effort. You really don't know your limits. Huang Tian's expression became gloomy after seeing Yarrow Ming attack. He randomly flicked his long finger and a golden feather shot out. It collided with Yarrow Ming's sharp palm with lightning-like speed. The sharp palm wind seemed to collapse upon contact as the two clashed. That golden light feather was just like a sharp magical weapon made of metal that not only easily tore through Yarrow Ming's sharp palm wind, it had even left behind a half-inch long bloody wound on his extremely hard hand. Yarrow Ming had actually suffered injuries upon contact. This caused his expression to change. The golden energy around his wound swiftly spread like poison, causing the flesh at that spot to become numb. It is extremely easy for this king to kill you. Huang Tian's figure appeared in front of Yarrow Ming in a ghost-like fashion. His indifferent golden eyes glanced at Yarrow Ming. He waved his sleeve and Yarrow Ming sensed a huge force swing toward him. A bang sounded and he forcefully shot down. Finally, he ruthlessly landed on a mountain, which immediately collapsed. Tribal Chief. Those elders from the 9 Serene Deep Ground Python tribe revealed a different expression when Yarrow Ming fell after not even lasting one exchange against Huang Tian. A fury surged into their hearts. Huang Tian was clearly humiliating their tribe. Fight it out with them. Some of the elders with fiery hot tempers immediately charged to the sky with furious faces. Before they could attack, Huang Tian merely swung his sleeve in a cold and indifferent fashion. A frightening golden light swept away and easily sent these elders out of the sky. Who else? This king will not show any mercy the next time around. Huang Tian stood in the sky alone. Golden light whistled around his body like a windmill. Only he alone was able to stand in the sky. All the experts from the 9 Serene Deep Ground Python tribe were unable to even enter the area 1,000 feet around him. The frightening strength of an advanced 5-star Do Sheng had been unleashed. Many 9 Serene Deep Ground Python tribe elders revealed purple faces after hearing that indifferent voice in the sky. This Huang Tian was completely humiliating them. Creak. Yarrow Ming struggled to climb out of the rock fragments within the mountain. He ignored the blood hanging on the corner of his mouth as his eyes stared at Huang Tian's figure in the sky with a blood-red expression. Both of his fists were clenched in fury, emitting cracking sounds. Form the formation. A cold blade-like voice seeped out of the gap between Yarrow Ming's teeth. A monstrous murderous intent rose. Understood. All the elders from the 9 Serene Deep Ground Python tribe cried out in union with dark and chilly expressions after hearing Yarrow Ming's words. At least 100 figures rose to the sky. Hints of a mysterious aura were vaguely present between them. Snake plate great formation. Numerous light pillars quickly surged out of the elders' bodies as the many of them cried out together. Finally, the pillars entwined with each other. Within a short minute, a 10,000-foot-large formation appeared in the sky in front of many pairs of eyes. The frightening pressure vaguely radiated from the formation, causing the expressions of many people to change. Snake plate great formation. Huang Tian frowned as he stood in the sky. He had naturally heard about the reputation of the formation. Back then, the 9 Serene Deep Ground Python tribe had relied on this big formation to kill many extremely powerful experts. The formation is not bad. Unfortunately, there is no capable person as its eye. Huang Tian spoke in a faint voice. His eyes glanced at Yarrow Ming, who had thrown himself in the middle of the formation. Yarrow Ming's expression was dark and cold as he chose to ignore Huang Tian's words. The seals formed by his hands changed. A light pillar shot out of his body and mixed with the formation, causing the entire formation to tremble. An endless number of energy light pillars gathered in a distorted fashion. Finally, they transformed into a 10,000-foot-long snake. The large snake radiated by an ancient aura, making it appear extremely powerful. Form the Heaven Phoenix Ancient Formation. The many experts from the Heaven Demon Phoenix tribe quickly separated in the distant sky after the huge snake appeared. An earth-shaking cry appeared above the land after an orderly roared. A huge phoenix, similar in size to the huge snake, flapped its 10,000-foot-large wings. It appeared in a way that blotted out the sun after this cry sounded. It faced off against the huge snake. The many people in this underground network inhaled a deep breath of cold air after seeing this shocking battle in the sky. Clearly, they had not expected both parties to actually unleash their respective tribe guarding formations. Huang Tian's eyes were indifferent as they swept over the huge snake standing in front from the sky. His body moved. He turned into a ray of light as he shot toward the 9 serene spring. Charge! Yarrow Ming immediately roared upon seeing Huang Tuan move. The huge snake formed by the many elders swung its large tail. The sky emitted the rushing sound of wind as it suddenly exploded. Huang Tian merely lifted his brow when attacked by this frightening momentum. However, he did not intervene to fight. Instead, he hurried toward the 9 serene spring without reducing his speed. The huge tail was just about to strike his body when a loud and clearly cry suddenly appeared in the sky behind him. A huge wing, which seemed to be made out of a golden light, penetrated air and collided with the huge snake. Frightening air ripples spread across the sky. Huang Tian's figure flashed and appeared above the 9 serene spring in front of countless pairs of eyes. Bastard! Yarrow Ming was extremely furious after seeing Huang Tian successfully charge past them. He was just about to direct the huge snake to turn an attack when the huge phoenix formed by the other party's formation came pouncing over to unleash a sharp attack. He had no choice but to focus his attention and deal with it. While Yarrow Ming and the rest were being delayed by the experts from the Demon Phoenix tribe, Huang Tian's indifferent eyes were thrown toward the 9 serene spring below him. The surface of the spring had already formed an extremely thick layer of hard ice. An extremely dark and chilly air continuously surged from it. This Xiao Yang's woman is indeed extraordinary. She is actually able to train in such a place. Some surprise flashed across Huang Tian's eyes. Although he could enter and leave this 9 serene spring as he liked, he did not dare to remain in it to train. We'll capture her first. Huang Tian's eyes flickered. He extended his large hand and ruthlessly clenched it toward the 9 serene spring below. The incomparable thick ice on the surface of the lake cracked an inch at a time. Finally, it blasted into an icy fog amid a series of explosions. The lake water of the 9 serene spring once again appeared after the ice burst apart. Huang Tian narrowed his eyes. He was able to vaguely detect an unusual pressure emanating from the bottom of the spring. Come out. Huang Tian did not hesitate. A cold glow flashed in his eyes. He grabbed with his hand and an earth-shaking storm rose. Numerous water pillars were formed by Huang Tian. In an instant, dozens of huge water pillars shot toward the sky. They appeared extremely spectacular. Yarrow Ming watched the 9 serene spring be turned upside down by Huang Tian. He felt extremely furious in his heart. However, he was being held back to the point of being unable to move. He could only pray in his heart that Cai Lin was not disturbed, even though he understood that this was wishful thinking. If Huang Tian continued, he would sooner or later capture Cai Lin from the bottom of the spring. Brother Xiao Yang, I'm afraid that I cannot finish what I promised you. Huang Tian's expression was indifferent as he stared at the 9 serene spring. A whirlpool that had reached the bottom of the spring had appeared. His eyes saw through the whirlpool. He seemed to be able to see a figure at the point. Huang Tian once again extended his hand when he saw this partially visible figure. A suction force erupted from his palm. However, he was just about to drag that figure from the bottom of the spring when his arms suddenly trembled. He suddenly lifted his head and saw a figure rushing over from the horizon with lightning-like speed. A 10,000-foot-large illusory figure soared through the air as this figure rushed over. A furious and strange sound suddenly descended from the sky. This frightening spiritual sonic wave ruthlessly struck Huang Tian, who was unable to react in time, at an indescribably frightening speed. Bang! Huang Tian's body flew back after being hit by this ferocious spiritual attack. He finally stabilized his body in a miserable fashion after destroying a couple of mountains along the way. An icy-cold cry that reverberated over the land caused his expression to turn green with fury. Old dog Huang Tian, you are seeking death. This icy-cold cry was just like a furious thunder as it reverberated through the sky. An uncountable number of shocked eyes looked in the direction this cry originated. The enormous illusory figure disappeared from the sky where many pairs of eyes had gathered. A black-clothed young man with an ice-cold expression appeared in front of the many gazes. Many exclamations were made like a ripple. Xiao Yang. Why has he appeared here? It is rumored that the person the Heaven Demon Phoenix tribe wants the 9 Serene Deep Ground Python tribe to hand over this time around is Xiao Yang's woman. From the looks of it, this really is the truth. Looks like there will be a good show this time around. This Xiao Yang is not an ordinary person. Even the chief of the Hall of Souls was defeated by his hands. Huang Tian has really met a tough person today. He is but a mere human. How can he compare to the great Huang Tian? The fighting strength of us magical beasts is not something a human of the same level can compare with. This Xiao Yang currently enjoys a great reputation in the Central Plains. We must let him experience just how strong our magical beast tribe is now that he has come to the beast region. Brother Xiao Yang. This unexpected change was immediately detected by Yarrow Ming, who was being held back. He swept his gaze over and a joy quickly surged onto his face. As long as Xiao Yang was able to hurry over in time, the big trouble today would likely be resolved. Xiao Yang nodded at Yarrow Ming in the distant sky. He lowered his head and looked at the 9 serene spring below. He waved his sleeve and the water pillars, which had forcefully been pulled out by Huang Tian, were gently returned to the spring by him. That huge whirlpool had also disappeared. Xiao Yang finally lifted his head after doing all this. His bone-piercing eyes glared at Huang Tian, who was slowly rising from a large pile of rock debris a short distance away. A murderous intent gradually rose in his heart. The greatest taboo during a retreat was to be disturbed by others. If one was careless, not only would the effort of the person training to come to naught, it could also endanger one's life. Huang Tian's reckless act earlier clearly indicated he did not care about Cai Lin's life. This was something that Xiao Yang could not accept. You are that Xiao Yang? Xiao Yang's expression was ice-cold. Huang Tian revealed a gloomy expression. His eyes contained a golden light as he stared at Xiao Yang before slowly saying, "You are finally here. You were planning on forcing me to show myself?" Xiao Yang slightly lifted an eyebrow. It seemed that this Huang Tian was not even a little surprised by his arrival. It seemed that the Huang Tian's target was not Cai Lin but him. You are the first person in many years who had dared to capture my tribe's elders and use them as hostages. Huang Tian looked at Xiao Yang. His body gradually calmed the giddiness in his mind that came from being ruthlessly struck by Xiao Yang's yellow spring divine anger earlier. I can sense the scent of the heaven demon phoenix tribe from your body. It looks like it is really as the elders have said. You possess the demon phoenix wings. With just these 2 points alone, you have been placed in the must-kill list of my heaven demon phoenix tribe. Today, this king shall use your life to tell everyone that anyone who breaks our taboo will be killed without mercy. After Huang Tian's final word sounded, a bright golden light suddenly swept from his back. A pair of 1,000-foot-large golden wings spread from his back. From a distance, the golden light was filled with a dignity and nobility. Xiao Yang's expression was cold and indifferent as he stared at Huang Tian. He merely snorted indifferently at the many crimes he faxed. His original intent was not to truly engage in a life and death with the heaven demon phoenix tribe. Hence, he did not take their lives after having captured the 2 elders and the junior tribe chief. Instead, he had merely imprisoned them and released them after the situation within the Eastern Dragon Island had gradually stabilized. From a certain point of view, he had indicated his intentions. However, from the looks of the situation today, he discovered that his kind intentions had been misplaced. The heaven demon phoenix tribe did not view his actions as kind. Instead, they were viewed as a weakness. Since his kindness could not be accepted, he could only use the most barbaric approach. How good, kill without mercy. The heaven demon phoenix is really overbearing. However, I do not know whether or not tribal chief Huang Tian possesses the qualification to utter these words. Xiao Yang faintly smiled faintly as he taunted the tribal chief. Do not think that you have the qualification to act arrogantly in front of this king just because you have defeated the chief of the Hall of Souls. Huang Tian's eyes became cold. The enormous golden wings on his back were flapped. His body tore through space at an extremely terrifying speed. He appeared in front of Xiao Yang as though he had teleported. His large hand suddenly struck forward. Golden light surged and turned into a large golden claw that ruthlessly smashed toward Xiao Yang. After this claw was swung, the space around Xiao Yang immediately exploded with a bang. Yellow spring palm. Huang Tian's frightening speed caused Xiao Yang's eyes to harden. However, he did not dodge. His hand seal changed and a 1,000-foot-large energy handprint escaped his hand. A pink flame continuously wiggled around the handprint. It appeared to be filled with strength. Boom. A palm and a claw collided with a bang in the sky. A wild and violent energy wind swept apart. Even the clouds in the sky were forcefully scattered. A great force poured out of the head-on collision, causing Xiao Yang's body to tremble. He hurriedly took a couple of steps back. Huang Tian was an advanced 5-star Dosheng. Moreover, his actual form was a heaven demon phoenix. If he clashed head-on, Xiao Yang would not be able to gain much of an advantage. Xiao Yang might have been forced back, but Huang Tian did not appear any better. The pink flame that had been mixed with the energy palm made a burned smell rising from Huang Tian's hand. He had suffered a little because of the purifying demonic lotus flame. It is indeed worthy of being the purifying demonic lotus flame. Huang Tian's expression was cold and indifferent as he glanced at his somewhat charred hand. A golden light surged over it and immediately healed the burn wound. Xiao Yang did not speak. His shoulders shook and a pair of green-red bone wings spread out. The bone wings were flapped and his body swiftly pulled back. The speed of Huang Tian was far too great. It was not beneficial to engage in close-quarters combat. Attempting to compete with this king in terms of speed, Huang Tian laughed after seeing Xiao Yang pull back. The pair of wings behind him were flapped. The sound of rushing wind immediately rumbled across the sky. His figure shot toward Xiao Yang not at a speed visible to the naked eye. He had caught up with Xiao Yang in an instant. Bang! After catching up to Xiao Yang, a fist with a golden light surging around it ruthlessly smashed toward Xiao Yang's head. Xiao Yang knit his brows as he faced Huang Tian's attack. He clenched his hand. A pink flame appeared. After which, it smashed toward Huang Tian's fist in front. Xiao Yang's fist accurately struck Huang Tian's figure, but his fist penetrated the figure upon contact. After image. Xiao Yang, his eyes narrowed slightly upon seeing this after image. He instinctively turned around and crossed both of his arms in front of him. Bang! A golden light fist broke through the space the moment Xiao Yang turned around. The fist struck his arms like a thunderbolt. That frightening force sent Xiao Yang flying back thousands of feet. Xiao Yang's flying figure had only just begun to stabilize when a sharp palm wind ferociously flew toward him before he could even lift his head. That speed caused one's expression to change. Xiao Yang, I'll let you experience the demon phoenix steps of my heaven demon phoenix tribe. Many golden after-images continued to appear around Xiao Yang in the sky. A densely packed sharp fist wind covered every single part of Xiao Yang's body. Those frightening fist winds had shattered the space within 1,000 feet into pieces. What frightening speed! The Heaven Demon Phoenix tribe specializes in speed to begin with. Even an elite 6-star Do Sheng would not be able to catch up with him. Xiao Yang could be considered to have met a tough opponent this time around. It is rumored that he is also extremely fast. However, this speed is not worth mentioning in front of tribal chief Huang Tian. The countless numbers of people watching the dazzling battle quietly shook their heads. Yao Ming in the distance frowned slightly upon seeing this scene. His eyes revealed some worry. From the looks of the current situation, it seemed like Xiao Yang had fallen into a disadvantage. Bang! Xiao Yang's figure continued to remain in a small area surrounded by densely packed human figures as he performed some rapid evasive actions. Huang Tian could be considered the fastest opponent Xiao Yang had faced in all these years. Huang Tian's speed was something that Xiao Yang had to admit he was no match for. As a member of the Heaven Demon Phoenix tribe, Huang Tian was indeed gifted. When they had just begun to exchange blows, Xiao Yang had been caught off guard and was a little miserable because of this speed of his opponent. These fist shadows might appear like illusions, but they would become real in an instant if they landed on one's body. They appeared strange and unfathomable. Fortunately, Xiao Yang's combat experience was extremely rich. Hence, he quickly calmed down after falling into a disadvantage. He gradually focused his mind while he dodged and searched for signs of Huang Tian's movement. He was indeed unable to compare with Huang Tian in terms of speed, but he did possess something that Huang Tian did not. It was a strong spiritual strength. Xiao Yang's dark black eyes were filled with many golden light figures. The faces of these human figures all contained the same dense smile. Sharp palm winds continuously struck at the fatal spots around Xiao Yang's body within a short dozen seconds, causing the blood within Xiao Yang's body to churn. However, Xiao Yang merely shut his eyes after falling into a disadvantage. His dodging speed had also slightly slowed, but this slower speed coincidentally managed to dodge the many fist shadows. Xiao Yang had both of his eyes shut. His spiritual perception spread around. Those surrounding light figures, which could not be caught by his naked eyes, also gradually slowed. After these figures slowed, Xiao Yang suddenly opened his tightly shut eyes. The densely packed golden light figures in his eyes finally became illusory. This video will end here.